this week, we got some new Switch 2 rumors. We found out why Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't have an Xbox release date, and more. So let's just go ahead, together, as a people, and check it out! And welcome to another sensational Sunday. I'm Mike, and I'm back to talk about the gaming news. And you know what else is back? More Switch 2 rumors. So Video Game Chronicles has some new rumors about Nintendo's next system. Now, a lot of this is going to sound obvious, being that the rumors are very similar to the Switch. Now, it's still going to be a hybrid handheld that can dock and you can play it on TV. It's going to have a cartridge slot still. It's going to have more memory because games are getting bigger, obviously, and 32 gigs or 64 at that point, but the Switch OLED is just not enough. Now, the other thing the rumor is claiming is it's going to launch the second half of 2024, but there have also been other rumors saying it could launch early 2024. But either way, it's expected to launch next year with a potential announcement at the end of this year. Now, the one big thing from this story is it's not going to launch with an OLED screen. The rumor is that they're going to go back to an LCD to keep the cost down, which doesn't surprise me if this is true. Launching with an LCD, aside from keeping the cost down, it also gives them the chance to, in a few years, release an upgraded OLED model to renew interest in it and, of course, boost sales for the system. Now, there was one thing that Video Games Chronicle was unable to confirm with their sources, and that's if the system will be backwards compatible with Switch games. Aside from the Switch, most of their systems have been at least backwards compatible with the previous generation. Now, the Switch not being backwards compatible made sense with the Wii U because they went from discs to cartridges, plus they also made it a hybrid system. But if this next system is very similar to the Switch, I think it would be a huge blow to their fan base if they can't deliver on backwards compatibility, especially for people who purchase DLC and games digitally. But again, these are all rumors, and it'll probably be a while before we hear anything official about Nintendo's next console. But you know what you don't have to wait a while to hear about? Xbox self-repair program for their controllers, because apparently it's already here. So Microsoft has launched a repair program for the standard Xbox controllers and the Elite Series 2 where you can buy replacement parts. Now, this includes things like the outside casing, which right now is only available in black and white, the vibration motors, buttons, and even the circuit board. Now, this makes a lot of sense for Microsoft to start getting ahead of the right to repair regulations that are coming down. Plus, with how expensive these things are, like the Elite Series 2, it's nice to have the option to be able to repair it yourself, especially if it's out of warranty. Now, along with making the parts available, they also have downloadable instructions and tutorial videos to assist with the repairs. Now, this is coming right on time for me personally because I got my Elite Series 2 back when I won my Taco Bell Xbox a few years ago. And basically, I use that controller all the time, especially for PC games. But the buttons are starting to stick on it, so I may be hitting them up for some replacement parts myself. The only thing I wish they included were some parts for the first Elite controller because it had issues with the grips coming off. I still have a first gen around the house, and we basically had to remove the grips because of how bad they got. But either way, I think it's a great step towards reducing waste if people could just repair their own controllers, or even take it to a local shop and have them repaired. So good for Microsoft. But you know what's not so good for Microsoft right now? Baldur's Gate 3, and that's what we're talking about today in our final story. So Baldur's Gate 3 is a fairly hyped RPG that launched on PC a few days ago, and it's launching on PS5 and Mac on September 6th. But suspiciously, the Xbox version doesn't have a release date. So there was some initial speculation that maybe it was a timed exclusive for Sony, and Sony paid them to keep it off of Xbox. Well, Orion Studios has got out there and addressed why there isn't an Xbox release date. So basically, the studio is running into issues with getting split screen working on the Xbox Series S. For this generation, of course, we have two Xbox consoles. We have the Series X and the Series S. And similar to last generation, when Microsoft and Sony released their Pro consoles, all the games have to run on both consoles and they can't drop features for like the Series S version. Basically, the only differences could be in resolution and frame rate. That's why the Series S version is causing a delay with it launching on Xbox, because they can't release it on Series X with a split screen feature and not on the Series S. Theoretically, they could just drop the feature on the Xbox version altogether, but I'm sure they wouldn't want to release a lesser version of the game on Xbox in general. So Orion, the studio behind the game, they said they're working hard to try to get past the technical hurdle so they can get a release date for the Xbox version. The article speculates that the issue is likely due to RAM limitations, as the PS5 and Series X has 16 gigs of RAM, and the Series S only has 10 gigs of RAM, and it runs at a slower speed. Now, I find this whole thing interesting because a while ago I reported that a developer was saying that the Series S was causing issues with developing games for Xbox. And at this point, it wouldn't make sense for Microsoft to drop the requirement because this has already been sold and marketed as a next-gen console, so it'd be bad for the people who already invested in a new system to get lesser versions of games. I'm really hoping that this is a one-off scenario for the Series S because it's a great system, especially for the price, and hopefully Orion can get past the issues on the Series S soon and the Xbox version can launch at least close to the PS5 and Mac versions. And this version of myself is getting out of here for the day and bringing this video to a close. But let me know what you think down below. Do you think the Series S could cause more issues for third-party Xbox games in the future? Again, let me know down below, and if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification to be notified when I drop a video or a live stream. And always do at least 2 things at the same time. Peace.